from slavery to emancipation. In the early 17th century, the forced migration of African people to the American colonies marked the beginning of a dark era. Stripped of their identities and subjected to dehumanizing conditions, they endured the horrors of slavery. The struggle for emancipation gained momentum during the Civil War, culminating in President Abraham Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation in 1863. However, the road to true freedom was arduous, as newly freed individuals faced economic, social, and political challenges during the tumultuous period of Reconstruction. Reconstruction and the struggle for civil rights. The aftermath of the Civil War ushered in the Reconstruction era, during which African Americans took significant steps towards political and social equality. The Freedmen's Bureau, established in 1865, aimed to provide essential services to newly freed individuals. The ratification of the 14th Amendment in 1868 granted citizenship and equal protection under the law. Despite these advancements, the Jim Crow era ensued, characterized by institutionalized racism, segregation, and the systematic denial of civil rights. The Harlem Renaissance. The early 20th century witnessed a cultural explosion known as the Harlem Renaissance. Spanning the 1920s, this period saw a flourishing of African American arts, literature, and music in the Harlem neighborhood of New York City. Visionaries like Langston Hughes, Zora Neale Hurston, and Duke Ellington emerged, challenging stereotypes and contributing to a vibrant cultural renaissance that showcased the richness of African American expression. World War I and the Great Migration. The First World War brought both challenges and opportunities for African Americans. Serving in segregated units overseas, black soldiers returned home with heightened awareness of racial injustice. Simultaneously, the Great Migration saw millions of African Americans moving from the oppressive conditions of the rural South to urban centers in the North, seeking better economic opportunities and influencing the demographic landscape of American cities. Civil rights movement, prelude. The mid-20th century marked the seeds of the civil rights movement. Figures like Rosa Parks, who refused to give up her seat on a Montgomery bus in 1955, and Thurgood Marshall, who fought segregation through legal channels, set the stage for a transformative period in American history. These early challenges to systemic racism paved the way for a more significant push for civil rights. Brown versus Board of Education. In 1954, the Supreme Court's landmark decision in Brown versus Board of Education declared state laws establishing separate public schools for black and white students to be unconstitutional. This decision was a turning point, challenging the notion of separate but equal and laying the foundation for broader challenges to racial inequality in various aspects of American life. Rosa Parks and the Montgomery bus boycott. Rosa Parks' refusal to give up her seat on a Montgomery bus in 1955 sparked the Montgomery bus boycott, a pivotal event in the civil rights movement. The collective determination displayed during this year-long boycott, supported by leaders like Martin Luther King Jr., showcased the power of nonviolent resistance in the face of segregation and discrimination. Martin Luther King Jr. and the March on Washington. Martin Luther King Jr. emerged as a central figure in the civil rights movement, advocating for civil rights through nonviolent means. The iconic March on Washington in 1963 brought together over 200,000 demonstrators, culminating in King's legendary "I Have a Dream" speech. This event amplified the call for racial equality and justice, resonating far beyond the National Mall. Civil Rights Act of 1964. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 was a landmark legislative achievement that aimed to dismantle systemic racial barriers. Signed into law by President Lyndon B. Johnson, it prohibited discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, or national origin. This transformative legislation marked a turning point in American history, setting the stage for further advancements in the fight against racial inequality. Black Power movement. The late 1960s and 1970s witnessed the rise of the Black Power movement, which emphasized self-determination, pride, and cultural awareness. Activists like Malcolm X and organizations like the Black Panthers played pivotal roles in shaping this era. The movement aimed to address not only legal segregation, but also economic and social disparities affecting the African American community. African Americans in politics. From the late 20th century onwards, African Americans increasingly became influential in American politics. Figures like Shirley Chisholm, the first African American woman elected to Congress, and Barack Obama, breaking the racial barrier to become the first African American president, marked significant milestones. Their contributions paved the way for greater representation and political engagement within the African American community. African American achievements in arts and entertainment. The late 20th century and early 21st century showcased a surge of African American talent in the arts and entertainment industry. Icons like Oprah Winfrey, Denzel Washington, and Beyoncé have not only achieved immense success, but have also used their platforms to address social issues and promote diversity. Their contributions have left an indelible mark on American culture, challenging stereotypes and inspiring future generations. African American contributions to science and technology. African Americans have made substantial contributions to science and technology throughout history. From the groundbreaking work of George Washington Carver in agricultural science to Mae Jemison becoming the first African American woman in space, these individuals have broken barriers and advanced knowledge in various fields. Their achievements highlight the importance of diversity and inclusion in the pursuit of scientific progress. Black Lives Matter movement. In the 21st century, the Black Lives Matter (BLM) movement emerged as a powerful response to systemic racism and police brutality. Triggered by high-profile cases of unarmed black individuals being killed by law enforcement, BLM advocates for justice, equality, and an end to racial violence. The movement has sparked widespread conversations, protests, and policy changes, bringing issues of racial inequality to the forefront of national discourse. Legacy and future contributions. The story of African American contributions in American history is ongoing, with a legacy that spans generations. Today's leaders, activists, and artists carry forward the torch of those who came before, shaping a future where equality and justice prevail. The resilience, creativity, and determination of the African American community continue to make lasting contributions to the rich tapestry of American history. Affirmative action and educational opportunities. In the aftermath of the Civil Rights Movement, affirmative action policies were implemented to address historical inequalities and promote diversity. These policies aimed to increase opportunities for underrepresented minorities, including African Americans, in education and employment. While controversial, they played a crucial role in fostering a more inclusive society and empowering African Americans to access higher education and professional opportunities. War on drugs and mass incarceration. The late 20th century saw the devastating impact of the war on drugs, disproportionately affecting African American communities. This era witnessed a surge in mass incarceration, as discriminatory policies and sentencing practices contributed to a disproportionate number of black individuals being incarcerated. The consequences of these policies continue to reverberate through communities, emphasizing the need for criminal justice reform. Barack Obama's presidency. The historic election of Barack Obama as the 44th President of the United States in 2008 marked a milestone in African American history. Obama's presidency symbolized progress, but it also highlighted the challenges and racial tensions that persisted. His 2 terms in office had a profound impact on the perception of race in America, fostering conversations about identity, representation, and the complexities of achieving racial equality. Black Lives Matter beyond police brutality. While the Black Lives Matter (BLM) movement initially gained prominence in response to police brutality, its scope expanded to address broader systemic issues. Activists within the movement began advocating for comprehensive changes in education, healthcare, housing, and economic policies to address the root causes of racial inequality, fostering a more comprehensive and nuanced understanding of the challenges faced by African Americans. African American entrepreneurship and economic empowerment. African Americans have played a significant role in shaping the economic landscape through entrepreneurship. From the establishment of thriving businesses in the early 20th century to contemporary success stories, African American entrepreneurs have defied odds and contributed to economic empowerment. Initiatives supporting minority-owned businesses and financial literacy have further fueled economic progress within the African American community. African American influence in popular culture. The influence of African Americans in popular culture extends beyond entertainment to fashion, language, and art. Icons like Michael Jackson, Beyoncé, and LeBron James have not only achieved immense success in their respective fields, but have also shaped global cultural trends. The impact of African American contributions in shaping the world's cultural landscape continues to be profound and far-reaching. Representation in media and Hollywood. African Americans have long fought for fair representation in media and Hollywood. From the pioneering efforts of actors like Sidney Poitier to the rise of black filmmakers and storytellers, the narrative surrounding African Americans in film and television has evolved. The push for diverse and authentic representation remains an ongoing journey, with strides being made towards breaking stereotypes and promoting inclusivity. Environmental justice and community activism. African American communities have often borne the brunt of environmental injustices, from exposure to pollutants to disproportionate impacts of climate change. Environmental justice movements led by African American activists highlight the intersectionality of social and environmental issues. Grassroots efforts to address environmental racism and advocate for sustainable practices contribute to a broader movement for justice and equality. Challenges and opportunities in the 21st century. As the 21st century unfolds, African Americans continue to navigate a complex landscape of challenges and opportunities. From persistent racial disparities in education and healthcare to ongoing efforts for police reform and racial justice, the journey towards equality is ongoing. The resilience, creativity, and determination of the African American community remain essential in addressing current challenges and shaping a more equitable future. Educational advocacy and empowerment. The 21st century has witnessed a surge in educational advocacy within the African American community. Organizations and individuals work tirelessly to address disparities in the education system, advocating for improved resources, equitable funding, and culturally responsive curricula. Initiatives like mentorship programs and scholarship opportunities aim to empower African American students, fostering a new generation of leaders and scholars. Health disparities and community wellness. Persistent health disparities continue to impact African American communities, from higher rates of chronic diseases to disparities in healthcare access. Grassroots initiatives and community-led efforts focus on promoting wellness, addressing systemic issues, and advocating for healthcare reform. The intersection of health and social justice remains a critical aspect of the broader fight for equality and well-being. Technological advancements and digital inclusion. In the digital age, African Americans have played a crucial role in technological advancements, breaking barriers in STEM fields. Efforts to bridge the digital divide and promote digital literacy contribute to increased representation. Organizations promoting coding education, entrepreneurship, and innovation within the African American community are shaping the future of technology and fostering inclusivity in the digital realm. Legacy, resilience, and the unfinished story. As the story of African American contributions in American history unfolds, the legacy of resilience and perseverance remains at its core. From the struggles against slavery to the achievements and advancements of today, the journey towards equality is ongoing.